Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So, photos were released today showing that at least one of the officers involved in the fatal no-knock warrant at Breonna Taylor's apartment was in fact wearing a body camera. So, several newly released crime scene photos show that Officer Anthony James is wearing a body camera on his right shoulder, and Officer Miles Cosgrove is seen wearing a body camera holder. Now, this is in direct conflict with what authorities have been saying in Kentucky. So both the police chief, Steve Conrad, and Mayor Greg Fisher have claimed since Breonna Taylor's death, which was all the way back in March, they have claimed that there's no video evidence of the raid because officers involved in this specific division are not required to wear body cameras. These photos were obtained and then disseminated by media outlets today, and the more than 1,200 images were used in the case against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. He was there when this raid took place. He thought that there were intruders. You know, if you're asleep in the middle of the night and people just come bursting through the door. So he thought that it was intruders. And so he got his gun and he shot at officers. They allege that his shot hit one of the officers in the leg. His attorney says, no, that's not necessarily the case. And I'll explain why in just a second. So they originally arrested Kenneth Walker for shooting at them, which is lunacy. So Walker's case, the police case against Walker, has now been closed without charges being brought against him, but it was dismissed without prejudice, which means that they can bring charges again in the future. It's not a done deal. So he's now suing the police department for the actions they took against him and to get them to sign something saying that they will not bring additional charges in the future. And apparently, he was not only interrogated and held against his will, but, he just lost his girlfriend. He just watched her take her last breaths. Apparently, the officers didn't help him. He was trying to save her life, and they didn't help him. And allegedly, they threatened him also with physical harm. So his attorney, a man named Steve Romines, I believe is how you pronounce it, spoke out about what took place at the apartment that night and a few other things. Romines said, "I've been doing criminal defense for 30 years and I've never seen a crime scene like this. The various trajectories of the bullets that they fired, they're literally wildly shooting. They're in various walls, they're in the ceilings, they're in the floors, they're through pots and pans in the kitchen." Apparently, there were also bullets lodged in the neighbors' walls. They could have killed other people as well. And again, remember, they shouldn't have been at this apartment. They already had the suspect in custody. So they shouldn't have been raiding this apartment. In addition, this has to do with her ex-boyfriend, who she had nothing to do with at the time. So they had no reason to be there whatsoever. But Romines estimates that officers fired approximately 40 bullets into Taylor's apartment that night. And as we all know, sadly, 8 of them hit and killed her. He also questioned why officers would wear body cameras but not have them turned on. Very good question. Apparently, unlike other places in the country where body cameras automatically turn on when the camera senses activity, Kentucky officers have to activate their cameras manually. So this is just one more reason that all of this should be federally mandated. Not only do we need to defund the police and get money into the hands of other organizations that can deal with things like mental health issues, but we need a national mandate for body cameras. And no, hey, it's up to you if you want to turn them on. No, they should be on constantly. after all of these shootings and other murders at the hands of police, this should not be optional anywhere. And as you guys, if you listen to my other podcast today, you know, many of these law enforcement agencies have been infiltrated by white supremacists. This just gives them a license to kill with total impunity. Something has to change. I mean, if you don't want people burning down buildings, you don't want people rioting, then maybe listen. And again, I'll say it for anybody who hasn't heard me say it. I don't agree with the violence. I don't agree with harming people. I don't agree with burning down buildings, looting, the rioting. But it's not happening that often compared to how many protests are out there. And I'm going to talk about that in another podcast. But on top of that, even those that are happening, can you not understand why? Do you not understand that when things like this happen and they are swept under the rug over and over and over again for decades, and only now we are coming to find out how frequent it's happening because now everybody has cameras. And now there's social media. So it spreads like wildfire. This country is like a powder keg right now. And a lot of it is warranted. A lot of it is totally understandable. When you keep ignoring people, when you give them no other means in which to settle their issues, when you tell people, we know that you're being targeted simply because of the color of your skin, and we're not going to do a damn thing about it, what do you expect them to do? All right, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.